Number 10. The impossible wooden Lego wood should not survive for 476,000 years. That is the first problem. Wood rots. Insects eat it. Water destroys it. Time deletes it. But at Kalambo Falls in Zambia, archaeologists found 2 ancient wooden logs shaped and fitted together with a deliberate notch. Not random branches. Not nature being artistic. Actual worked wood. And the date is the ridiculous part. Around 476,000 years old. That means this was made long before modern humans were supposed to be the main characters. Some ancient human relative looked at wood and thought, I can shape this. I can join this. I can build something. That is not caveman stupidity. That is planning. The discovery feels wrong because wood is supposed to disappear from prehistory. Stone survives. Bone sometimes survives. Wood usually leaves the group chat early, but this one stayed, like a message from a mind we were not giving enough credit. Number 9. The murder javelins at Schöningen in Germany. Archaeologists found wooden spears from deep prehistory. Not sticks, spears, balanced, shaped, and made for hunting. These weapons are hundreds of thousands of years old, and they were found with horse remains, which means early humans, or Neanderthals, were not just scavenging leftovers like nervous raccoons. They were hunting big animals with designed weapons. That changes the picture completely. Because a spear is not just wood with a sharp end. A spear means distance, weight, balance, timing, teamwork, and also the terrifying confidence to throw a sharpened stick at an animal that can absolutely destroy you if the stick does not do its job. This was not a dumb brute with a branch. This was prehistoric engineering with consequences. Number 8. The cave construction crew deep inside Bruniquel cave in France. Researchers found something extremely weird. Broken stalagmites arranged into ring-like structures, and not near the cave entrance. Deep inside, far from daylight. The structures date to around 176,000 years ago, which means Neanderthals probably made them. Now pause there. Neanderthals entered a dark cave, broke stalagmites, moved hundreds of pieces, arranged them into circles, and used fire inside. Why? Nobody knows for sure. That is what makes it creepy. It was not a normal shelter. Too deep. It was not a simple campsite. Too strange. It may have been symbolic, social, ritual, or something we do not yet have words for. The point is simple. Neanderthals were doing complicated cave projects, while modern people still imagine them as forehead-heavy idiots. The cave says otherwise. The cave says somebody was planning in the dark. Number 7. The red crayon from 73,000 years ago at Blombos cave in South Africa, archaeologists found a tiny piece of stone with red crosshatch lines on it. That sounds boring until you realise what it means. Someone drew it. Around 73,000 years ago. Not random scratches. Not accidental tool marks. A pattern made with ochre, almost like a prehistoric crayon. And suddenly, you are not looking at survival anymore. You are looking at expression. Somebody had enough mental space to make a mark that did not kill an animal, cook food, or sharpen a tool. They made a pattern. That is the dangerous moment in human history, because once a species starts making marks for meaning, it is not just living in the world anymore, it is commenting on it. The little red drawing should not feel powerful, but it does, because it is basically the prehistoric version of someone saying, I was thinking. Number 6. The bone flute at Hohle Fels cave in Germany. Archaeologists found a flute made from bird bone. A real flute, around 35,000 to 40,000 years old. That means Ice Age humans were not just surviving freezing landscapes and giant predators. They were making music. And music is a weird thing if you think about it. It does not fill your stomach. It does not stop a cave lion. It does not make winter warmer. But humans still made it. Because humans are not satisfied with staying alive. We want rhythm, noise, mood, memory, something to do around the fire besides staring into danger. The first musician was not playing for fame. They were playing in a cave while the Ice Age sat outside like a threat. That is insane. And beautiful. Number 5. The Lion Man monster, the Lion Man of Hollenstein Stadel, is one of those objects that feels too advanced for its age. It is a sculpture carved from mammoth ivory, around 40,000 years old. But it is not just an animal. It is part human, part cave lion, a creature that did not exist in real life. That matters, because carving a real animal is already impressive. But carving a mixed creature means imagination, myth, story, maybe ritual, maybe fear, maybe worship. Some Ice Age artist looked at the most dangerous predator around and fused it with the human body. That is not decoration. That is a mind-building monsters. And monsters are a big deal. Because before writing, before temples, before cities, humans were already inventing beings that lived only in imagination. The Lion Man is not just art. It is proof that the human brain had already opened the horror department. Number 4. The finger bone that exposed a lost human. This one sounds like science fiction. In Denisovan cave in Siberia, researchers found a tiny finger bone fragment, not a skull, not a full skeleton, a finger bone. And from that little piece, ancient DNA revealed an entire unknown group of humans, the Denisovan. Imagine that. A whole branch of humanity discovered from a fragment small enough to ignore. That bone could have looked almost useless. After DNA, it became a doorway into a lost population. And Denisovans were not just a footnote. Their genes still survive in some modern people today. So the discovery is not only, there was another human group. It is. They are partly still here. That is the kind of prehistoric discovery that breaks the simple family tree. Human history was not one clean line. It was a messy group chat with cousins we forgot existed. Number 3. The footprints that broke the timeline at White Sands in New Mexico. Archaeologists found ancient human footprints. The shocking part is the age. Around 21 to 23,000 years old. That places humans in North America much earlier than the old simple version of the story allowed. And these are not just tools that can be argued over forever. They are footprints. Actual human steps pressed into ancient mud. Some belonged to children and teenagers. Nearby were tracks of Ice Age animals like mammoths and giant ground sloths. This is what makes it hit harder. It is not just humans were there. It is children walking through a giant animal world during the Ice Age. No roads, no safety, no modern gear, just feet in wet ground, moving through a continent full of things that could kill them. The footprints should not still exist. But they do, and they are basically prehistory saying, we were here earlier than you thought. Number 2. The temple before the farm Göbekli Tepe in Turkey is one of the most annoying discoveries in archaeology. Annoying in the best way, because it messes with the order of the story. The old simple version was, first farming, then villages, then religion, then temples. Göbekli Tepe says, maybe not. Around 11,500 years ago, hunter-gatherers built huge circular structures with massive T-shaped stone pillars. Some pillars are carved with animals like snakes, foxes, boars, birds, and strange symbols. This is before the fully developed farming world we usually associate with big monuments. So now the question becomes uncomfortable. Did farming help create temples? Or did temple building help push people toward farming? Nobody has the whole answer. But the site is real, and it feels impossible because it shows hunter-gatherers organizing labor, carving huge stones, and building ritual spaces before civilization was supposed to be that dramatic. Göbekli Tepe is not just old, it is disrespectful to our timeline. Number 1. The tools older than humans at Lomekwi in Kenya. Archaeologists found stone tools dating to around 3.3 million years ago. That is older than the genus Homo. Read that again. Tools older than humans. Not older than modern humans. Older than humans, as we usually define the human toolmaker story. That means some earlier hominin was already hitting stone in controlled ways, making flakes and heavy tools before human was even the proper label. This discovery is so weird because tool making used to feel like our signature, our thing, the thing that separated us from the rest. But Lomekwi says the roots of technology go deeper, before Homo sapiens, before Neanderthals, before Homo erectus was ruling the survival game. Some ancient ape-like relative picked up stone and realized it could be changed. That is the real beginning. Not a city, not a wheel, not metal. A rock hitting another rock in exactly the right way. And from that tiny, brutal idea, everything else eventually follows. The strangest thing about these discoveries is not just that they are old, it is that they feel too human. Building, hunting, drawing, making music, inventing monsters, leaving footprints, making tools, planning in the dark. These discoveries should not feel modern, but somehow they do. Because the deeper archaeology digs, the more it shows that prehistoric life was never just primitive people trying not to die. It was intelligence under pressure, creativity under threat, engineering without instruction manuals, art without galleries, music without stages, and memory without writing. Be honest which one sounds the most fake even though it is real. The 476,000-year-old wooden structure, the Neanderthal cave rings, the Ice Age flute, or the finger bone that revealed a lost human species.